Reviewed that. Check, check. Mic is good. All right. Brian, Scenes of Evolution. How we doing? How we doing? Ooh, gotta get this other camera turned on. Good. All right. We're gonna take a crack at getting Master Crane done again. I did confirm though this time that the carriage fits. So on, what was it? Saturday night, I think it was, after the stream. Yeah, a little bit while after the stream, I hopped online, saw Aaron online, and he was already starting to fix this. So we took some more measurements, and I went ahead and just printed the carriage, went ahead and put it together just briefly, this part, and wanted to make sure that I could tighten it on. And I only have these cranked just barely from max away to closer, maybe a eighth of a turn, or yeah, a fifth of a turn, eighth of a turn, something like that. And it's gripping on real nice. So it's really nice and smooth. There's no gripping anywhere at all. And it just runs real smooth now. So I'm real happy about that. I can always tighten up more if I need to, but I definitely have the space. I also took measurements in here between each of these to ensure we are all the right spacing, and it is. So very, very happy that this all works. So now I need to start taking this apart, to finish taking it apart, I should say, and go ahead and get the smooth rods back in here, reassemble the x-axis, and put it on the z, and then we hopefully can start a print. Well, let's see who all came in. Aaron's here. Shay, this is my own 3D printer that I designed. Ryan, we are short today. Again, everything is test fitted. It does fit now. So we are good to go. Happy about that. We had a few snafus the other night, but hey, that's what happens when you try. Oh, Aaron, beautifully. I meant to send you a thing. So Aaron and I also figured out how to do built-in support. So we figured out he figured out how to actually model it in there. And then I suggested that we add a 0.5 millimeter shell to that body that was inside of here, because this top part is unsupported, because this whole thing can wiggle in there. Okay, so we have a little bit of wiggle room. So if we're not exactly right on that Z motor mount, we'll still be in line. But yeah, so we made it as a box with a 0.5 millimeter shell. That way the inside is completely open and it doesn't want to put any infill in there. And it worked beautifully. I was able to grab it, twist it, pop it right out, boom. We also did a 0.3 millimeter separation from where the print ends and then to where the actual the support piece starts. So it gives a little bit more separation. It still got stuck in there a little bit. So I was able to take a little fine flathead screwdriver, pluck it out, and it was done. So worked out really, really well. Don't worry, Shay. I actually modeled this up and built it a few months ago, and I'm just kind of getting around to actually finishing the build and getting everything properly done. I had to change a few things up, and I didn't have it properly done myself. So I enlisted Aaron to help me with checking out my 3D model, finding where my issue was. And there were several issues, but the biggest one being just straight up alignment was a problem. I did not have all the holes lined up on the wheels, which had a little bit of space in it. And then that was really my issue there. I knew there wasn't a space issue or alignment issue, but I was able to kind of finagle it to get it to work. It's printed and printed really well, but I'm expecting like literally phenomenal prints at this point now, because now that everything is lined up and beautiful looking, we can get there. Looks like the mount for a T3D dual Z kit for enders. Greg, I'm not quite sure what that is. I didn't know that Tim had a product like that. This motor wire out. Get this belt out of here. Here we go. Just slide all of this off. There we go. Now, gotta try to get these out, which I'm probably gonna have to break them out. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I'm about to break those out. Hopefully not bend them. I'm a little worried about that. Well, let me get these bolts out first. They came out really good on the red ones. The red parts. I'm wondering if the Ziltech PETG just shrunk a little bit more. But I did drill these out with an 8mm drill bit. But I mean, come on. All right, well, let's give this some wacky wackies and get this out. Let's do it, chick. Chris, what's up? Come. Man, this PTG is tough. It's here. Kind of crack it a little bit. A little bit of space. Well, it's just in there so tightly. That is the problem with these 3D printed ones. I mean, I didn't leave that much space in there for like clearance. There it goes. Still straight. Fire in the hole. Okay. Those old ones are gone. But now, I might drill this out a little bit more. Man, it's a doggone tight fit. Just do it like that. Fits in pretty well. I'm on the camera to sing for 1 quick second here. I think that's it. Just gonna check with the belts real quick here. I gotta put through that first. Dirt. Here, here. Belt over that. Come on. Yeah, that's there. That'll do it. That'll do it, dragon. Okay. Now we're going to get the motor attached on here, which should be interesting. Because I already put this part together. I might need to take it apart. Probably should. Yep. Okay, so we got to switch you guys' cameras here now. Go to here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take out all these. We'll just put them back together. We'll just slide it down onto the Z. Took the top cap off of it, so it should be easy enough to do. So this is the, I need to put that on first. Slide this through. Oh, can't do it with that on there. Okay, there we go. So, because I'm doing this the lazy way, I don't want to rethread that belt 12 times. Yeah, putting stuff in the oven, that takes way too long. Come on, guys. You should know that I am amazingly impatient by now. Also, I didn't care about that old part. If I was trying to like save the 3D print, maybe I would like take more care, but I just needed it off. Okay, that's in there. Let's tension the belt a little bit. Pretty good like that. Then we're gonna go like that. Okay, so now go ahead and get this piece ready to go. Actually, no, I need to install this is the back plate. This is the extruder. Where did that nut go? There it is. I got a nylock that goes in there. Extruder goes onto here like this. And we've got some long bolts. Drill those out. I did. There we go. And these are 45 millimeters to get through this thick 3D printed part. There we go. Screws on nice and tight. Now we can go ahead and do this part. So we're going to put our bolt through. And we've got a 1 millimeter spacer, the wheel, and another spacer on it. line up my eccentric nut real quick. Right there. Other eccentric nut. There. Okay, now let's see if this works. Okay, that locks in. Two. Come on. And pushing the captain nut out the back there. Okay. Everything final crank down. Okay, so now we have our rebuilt Z. We do like this here. Take this up. The lead screw. And that's on. Got my little cap here. So this just goes right on top to cap off the extrusion and to prevent me from getting cut. I mean, I did file over the edges just a little bit, but this also looks a little more polished, having a nice little top on there. The carriage is pretty actually good. I'm just gonna make it just a hair tighter. Yeah, there's no playing that at all. We have a little bit play this way from the eccentric nut, which is fine. But wham bam, here we go. Just want some filament in here for some reason. We'll just do it like that. Keep that up and pull that out. Get this on. Extruder motor on. To get our LCD display reconnected. Okay. X motor on. Okay. Is that it? Legit? I guess so. Let's power it up, see what happens. Boot. CD cable a little bit. Mount. Okay, we've got everything there. So let's do temperature, nozzle. Let's just do, come on. Yeah, it jumps quick. 200, I want to pull that PLA out real quick. That's in here. Get that out. Yeah, that was super easy now that I actually got it, you know, the right spec. I am a little worried that having the eccentric nut on top of the 3D print will have a little bit too much play in it, rather than it be on the bottom pushing up and kind of like be on the bottom and moving down here with this not moving. Right now it's kind of like suspended from the nut and it can move. I don't know if there's a difference. How do the other printers do it? So where's it out on the end? Is it on the top and bottom of an ender? It is on the bottom of an ender. So that might actually matter. Not sure, but because I have some up and down movement here. I'm not sure. Okay. All right, filament out. That back in there. This in here. Put on a magnetic sheet. Let's see, auto home still works. Motion, auto home. A little screechy. I need to lubricate this. Oh my goodness, that hurts. Okay, let's get out some lubrication. Where's it at? I gotta dig it out. Give me a second here. Whoop. Lithium grease, lithium grease, lithium grease. Okay. Did it stop? It did stop. Way past the bed though. Okay, we gotta pull this up a little bit. Some motion. We're going to move axis, move Z, 10 millimeters. Move it all the way up. We'll put some grease on it, we'll bring it back down, but we gotta move this end stop up quite a bit. Right, at least to there. I mean, the only real reason why that will lift up is if there's too much pressure. So I guess, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch it now. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna switch it now so that it can float underneath. Disable steppers. It's there. Come on. Think about the thing still on. Temperature, cool down. Just need to be careful real quick here. The best way to sit this, I can work on it. But this is not very easy here. Come on. Pull this out, and we'll do it like that. There we go. This will work. This will. Let me get up my fix it real quick. This. We need to do it this way. All right, so I'm going to move this to the lead screw nut to the underside. I just think it will be better if the carriage doesn't move, but the lead screw nut moves. Right now, the lead screw nut can move, and the carriage can, because of its current configuration. Don't run away. To the bottom here. I'm going to put an M3 washer on the top though, because those holes There's just not a whole lot of surface area for those bolts up there. 1, 2, 3. I got some real nice small M3 washers on the BLV build that will make this better. Yeah, that's better. That hot end to cool down still. I mean, it's cooler. It's just still 124 degrees right now. Down. Viking, what's up? Darren, hey, how we doing, guys? How we doing? One, and then we can tighten these all down. Stop. You go there, you go there. Tight. A little bit too tight. Yeah, we just want just a wee bit of movement. There we go. We got a wee bit of movement in there now. Okay. We can put this back up onto here. To get a little bit of lithium grease. Shop towel. Put it on there. Now that moves, but this doesn't move unless I literally pick it up now. Way better. Way better that way. Okay. Everything should be reconnected now. So now we can go ahead and do a motion auto home. Let that go down. And see how far off that Z end stop is. Hey, that sounds a lot better going down now too. No more squeaks. Jesse, hey man. Brian, I just saw your message on YouTube. Sorry, I've not had time to reply to you yet. I think that was you that asked on YouTube. You can send me an email. It's shane@cugatech3dprinting.com, and I will send you a link. I will probably also upload it to my Google Drive, and I will publicly put it on that video so that others can see it. Now we got to bring the end stop down a little bit more. Okay. a little bit more. Right there's good. All right, so we need to preheat and get that junk off. What would I want to do that? Temperature. Preheat PLA, everything. I need to reverse the encoder on that as well because it's backwards. I don't think we're going to do a transformer on this one, Ryan. I like Master Crane, though. Because it's a crane style cantilever, you know. You know how it goes. All right, I'm going to turn this sideways so that I can see it head on and get this bed level dialed in once I get the nozzle cleaned off. Then I think we should do a print. What are you guys thinking for a print? Like traditional benchy or something else? I'd like it to not take too terribly long. So if you have something that takes less than a benchy print, that would be super awesome. That's why it wasn't seated all the way. That's better now. Tweezers, 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 tweezers. Where did I put them at? Go. Okay. Do. Rough. Dot in. We'll get some paper here in a second. Okay, now for the paper test. Oh, Voron cube. You can do Voron cube. Let's start up front. Hole on the side of it. That's not going to help much. Lefty loose. Pretty good there. Center. A little tight on center. That's all right, though. My golly, I forget how much this. I wish I could. I need to make this shorter because, like, my part cooling fan shroud is like right there. It's like literally almost touch. It's not touching, but it's like so close. I can't really make it any taller. So, all right, let's see what we can do here. So we want to do Volron cube, huh? Brian, it's Shane at fugatech3dprinting.com. Did do this in let's change over to here. There we go. So this is a custom image that Keith made for me, so I know what printer I'm on. So it's just master crane. It's just PLA temps. We'll do the 15% infill, delete that. Here, go ahead and find 3D print files, test stuff. Voron design cube. So there's the Voron cube there. Slice that. And yeah, we can save this out the SD card. Takes an hour. Probably could do less infill, huh? It's a lot of infill. Let's do 10% infill. Slice and dice. That saves me like no time at all. Save it. Sideswipe. Ooh, that is pretty good. I like that. Okay, switch back to just go here. Actually, what I wanted to do, if you guys would give me a moment, I want to grab my other arm out so I can put this camera a little closer. So just give me a few minutes to do that. So the Mingda is blocking the way. Plug that. Plug it back in. I'm gonna go under this. Now plug that back in. There we go. That's out of the way. Thought I grabbed one of these arms out before, but not. Mingda is still in the way. Oh, you're still giving me a hard time, eh? This attached to the table now. We'll be good to go. Oh, it's meant to fit a what size bearing, Aaron? It's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to come out. That is so going to get in the way of me. So move it to the other side of the table here. Here. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be good. All right. Move this thing here. Whoop. Hello. There we go. Take all this off of it real quick. The ball head on this one. Where's my ball head at? Oh, it's on that. I don't feel like taking it off right now. Perfect. Put that into it. Put the battery back in it. Dummy battery. Other way. Okay. Is on, should be. It's going to be good. Okay. So, here, there we go. There we go, guys. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get some filament. What are we going to use today? What are we going to use today? Oh, what do we got sitting around here? What do we got? What do we got? Still got this green. We use this. I got this Jesse PLA sitting here. Oh, I need a spool holder. It's the one thing this printer doesn't have is a spool holder. But honestly, the spool weighs almost as much as the printer, so it's kind of understandable. This is a little bit closer so we can get the spool there. Get this filament loaded now. Hate BMGs. Here it is. Okay, now we go until let's start printing. Print for media. Or on design. Print. We're gonna refocus here in a second. How close are we? Probably gonna be too close. Too far away. What have I gun? Yeah, let's restart this real quick. So there's everything I really don't like about my cooler design is I can't actually see the print going down to be able to say, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good first layer. I really can't. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. Maybe that's one last favor I can ask Aaron is to look at my part cooling shroud. See where I screwed up on that one. That's 695 bearing. What in the world is that? I mean, I have some flanged bearings here, but I don't know what size they are. It'd be cool when I have auto bed leveling though, because once I have the steel flex sheet on here, then I don't need to worry about this anymore. Because I do worry, because these magnets are not great on either one of these sheets, is that they will pop up. A little bit closer here. The money as I can get it. Here we go. We can do that. Go back over here. Is it Countach? What the heck is that? Because the OG Transformers came out when I was born. So I know, Ryan, it is really low. So actually, while we're doing this, maybe I can do that way. Do I have the other way around? Nope, nope, nope. All right, we can do it this way, I guess. Let me pull up Fusion here. And I'll show you guys. Maybe I can make it a little bit shorter. It's carriage. X carriage. Gunner, no, it is a El Cheapo magnetic flexible build sheet off of AliExpress, like super duper cheap. Okay, so here's the design that I made for the part cooling fan. As you can see, it is lay close, like it's real close. So we inspect from the nozzle to here. It's a where's the difference at? Now I want to go from this face to this face. 1.2 millimeters. That's pretty close. That's real close. So the only thing that I can think to do, honestly, okay, if we take off this, and fan, the only thing, because I mean, in here, I've got, how much space do we have in here? So if I do an inspect from here to here, okay, it is 5 millimeters inside of there. So I guess I could make that 3 millimeters. I don't know. So it's 5.5 millimeters is what it is right now. Would 3.5 millimeters be okay? That is the main question. Because I honestly don't know if it will be or not. I might do that, Aaron. I need to figure this out though. So let's just go ahead and let's create a sketch on this face. Oh, Ryan, you're quick. We're just going to go from here to there. Center point, we're going to go down 1 point, or no, just go down 1 millimeter. Actually, I don't need to do that. I need to draw a line from the center point of that here. And then we're going to go ahead and isolate this body. We're going to split this body on that surface. Okay. And then we're going to disable that one. We're going to go ahead and extrude this one by -1. And then we're going to do this body through this face by -1. Enable this one. We're going to move this body up 2 millimeters. We're going to join that one to that one. And there's the new one. I mean, it's still 2 millimeters. It didn't have to be exact on that one, Aaron. And then yeah, if I want to make a, so if we re-enable the nozzle fan hot end, that gives us some more space there. So now from nozzle to top, theoretically, is about 3.5 millimeters versus the 1.5 that it was to begin with. Skirt was a little rough there, but the print itself is moving right along. We're just gonna have to ignore this corner right here since that skirt kind of went in there. Well, Ryan, no, because all of those holes are at an angle. So all of these are kind of downward. So they're still going to get plenty of cooling down on it. Again, this isn't like ideal, and I'm kind of a noob at doing this, but I think this might be better just keep it out of the way. This print is not going to have much curling on it, but other ones could. I can't make the fan holes any lower. They are already coming out of the bottom of the way this is designed. If I disable the part cooling, no, not the fan shroud, fan. You can see they're already coming pretty far down. This was extremely hard to design. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever designed a part cooling fan like this, but this took me hours upon hours to come up with this design. And no, it's not perfect, but it is the best that I can do. When I release this, I would love to see somebody go ahead and remix this to actually have a better part cooling fan. But it is pretty doggone good right now, to be honest. It cools very adequately for the testing that I've done. I don't know where, I think the kids took all my test prints that I still had for this thing sitting around. I did have some of the night, that one night girl that I printed a couple times. I know they stole that. I printed her in 2 different colors on this printer, and those are both gone. So here I am again blaming my kids. Yeah. And again, so like the way that the Hypercube does it is the fan sits up here above the carriage, and it comes down behind the hot end and does it. I probably could do something like that. So instead of restricting it higher up like his does, because you lose a lot on your X, because on the Hypercube it sits out pretty far. I tried to keep mine as close as I could. I could have made it actually more compact, but I didn't actually have to because I have plenty of space on a Y in order for this to work out. So that didn't really matter all that much. I do know that I did forget to add I guess I lost my prime nozzle because it didn't do the prime line on here. We'll reprint this part in PTG. It's small. It's a little printer, wife. Huh? She's making fun of me because I'm looking down this little printer. I think it's a time for a non-sponsored drink of Pepsi. Prusa Mini has the fan on the back. I guess potentially I could. I just have to be. Oh, because is the Prusa Mini, does that one go like perpendicular to the carriage. Is that what it is? Let me look that up real quick here. So, pull a new window over here to Prusa Mini. Images. Oh yeah, so the Prusa Mini has it perpendicular coming out the back. That's interesting. It just would be... No, Gunner, still no sponsor for Pepsi, man. I'll keep asking. You know, doors always open, DMs open for them, emails open for them. We're just waiting. That is an interesting thing to do. I just have to be careful because my back of the Z-axis sticks further out into X than the part of the X carriage here, though. So I just have to make sure that if I was to try to do that, that it would not collide with the extruder on the back here. Mainly being this gigantic nut thumb screw on the what's that called? The Bondtech. That's what it's called. So as you guys can tell, this printer is not super speedy. This was not built to be the Mark III's or the Prusa Mini. This was not built even to be an Ender. This was built to be slow and steady, win the race, get good quality out of it, because everything in here is done by hand. It's modeled by me. These extrusions cut by hand being my miter saw. So there is a ton of human error that I kind of have to build into this machine, and there is an acceptable amount of loss to it because this was done as cheap as possible, you know. And again, this is no way comparison to any other printer on the market. This was meant to be better and as cheap as an easy 3D printer, because they have theirs for $130 using 5-volt little motors. I'm using standard NEMA 17 motors on this, so I'm getting a lot more torque out of it. I can do multiple types of filament on this, which is way better. Obviously, with a better build sheet, it'll be easier to go. I don't know what to say, Gunner. You know, I'm a cheap date for them. See how it goes. Try the horn style that runs down the side. So the problem with that one, Darren, is figuring out how to. Ryan said a beer sponsor. I'd be. My live streams would no longer be monetized though, but I would definitely take a beer sponsor. So the issue with coming down the side, Darren, is figuring out how to get it to actually attach. So let me here, zoom out a little bit. Okay, let me switch here to the main one. All right, so if you look here at the way I have this mounted, so this is a clamp that clamps back to this carriage, this part of the carriage here. I have it situated here because I have a nice flat surface here that I can attach the fan to. Now, granted, it is only held in by this one bolt, but the actual shroud seats into this printed part, and then this bolt has a nice positive connection on there, so it can't twist or anything like that. It's nice and tight in there. A little bit of, obviously, tolerance built into there, but it does fit in nicely, so it's not going to really move around too much at all once it's cranked down, because there are also these holes in the top are captive nut holes that I can drop a hex nut into, and it holds it still. I don't have to worry about it spinning. In order to mount this to the side, I'd also have a few other issues. One, if I mount it with the blower side inside here, I then have the fan facing there. If I want the blower to be the fan to face this outside area, so turning it 90 degrees this way, I would have to find some very interesting geometry to get it, because the nozzle would be out here pretty much, and then I have to bring it over to there. I was trying to get the most direct and closest path to the nozzle from here. So that was kind of what I was trying to get at with this design. Short path, as much cooling on that filament as possible to make it happen. So there's a lot of different things here to make that work. So EQD mount on the clamp screws. I don't know what that means, Darren. Let's bring this back down here. In so you guys can see the print going. That. Okay. Move this back to here like that. Okay. Let me check something real quick with the family. I'll be right back. Are you ignoring them? Or is that your phone? Is that your phone or is that them screaming? Oh. Ah, wife. It's the white Scoofy phone. Oh, look, an M3 nut. Look at that. It's a black one, too, on a black 4. Oh, that's exciting. So again, when I release this, would really like to see someone else have a crack at modifying some of this. Have I seen the folding IDEX printer on AliExpress? I have not. I did see an advertisement for a different. I thought it was for like a Mark III. Let me pull up AliExpress. I could have swore that I saw something about a folding i3 printer. This one here. Fold kit, filament. I don't care what filament. The 372. Folding IDEX. It looks like they just took a bare frame, similar to a bare frame. It is quite interesting. I've not tried it out. So 372 with $157 shipping. Man, I didn't think on AliExpress. Oh, here's the one I was looking at. This one here. This is the one that I saw. Is this the same printer or is this just an i3? But lately, AliExpress, if you order from China, shipping is ridiculous. So I just ordered from the US ones. Yeah, this is just their folding i3. So this one I saw. This is a interesting design. Like this whole front part is a 3D printed part. So both of these rod holders and the tensioner for the belt is all 3D printed in one solid piece. So this one's $322 again, $157 shipping. It's redonkulous. Delivery before 2/22. It is November 23rd. So if you don't receive this in 3 months, you can get your refund back. Oh my goodness. That is ridiculous. Look up the Moldex. M-U-L-D-E-X. The US site? On the US site. I'm not seeing anything from Moldex. That doesn't look like 3D printer stuff. I'm not seeing anything for that, Ryan. Oh, not on Ali. Okay. Evo Tornado Fang Shroud. So it's a, this right here. So it's a BLV IDEX. Kind of what it looks like. Single mode, 365 by 300 by 300. Dual extruder, 330 by 300 by 300. Thought I heard a weird sound. Sorry. Interesting. You like his the way he does the part cooling fan on that. Dude's on Twitter. 3D Printing World. He's the one that developed this, eh? That's a lot of belts. Holy shnikes. It's a lot of belts. Let's see. Look at the media. Look at this thing. A Duet 2 and a Duet DuX5 expansion port. Oh my goodness. The electronics in this is crazy. Oh man. All the fans, optical switches, filament sensors. Man, he loaded out 2 duets here. 1 extra stepper left over. Split Z-axis. That's a lot of motors. Wonder how much building this thing would cost. Are you gonna build it? Dude. That's a pretty slick looking build there. Using dual copperhead. What's that? It's a Flexi Nimble on the right there, and then a Bondtech on the left. Yeah, the part cooling fan is cool. That was the other thing is that so mine, what's on Master Crane, I designed 1000% from scratch. I did not look, I looked at other things, but like I didn't use another model for reference. So that's why it took so long. Because, I mean, I guarantee you, I designed this entire thing 100% from scratch. I didn't copy anything. I took ideas from a lot of other printers, but I didn't actually pull in a 3D model and copy it over. I just started. So again, there's definitely room for improvement on this. But for such a cheap printer, I'm okay with that. This thing looks good. I do like this printer. It is very cool looking. It is a big IDEX. Yeah, it's using copperheads on those. There's $400 in hot ends, looks like, guys. Man. Oh, it's Oh, Aaron, the way they have that attached is magnets, bro. That is cool. All right. There's some good designing here. That's the orbiter extruder. Okay. Yeah, he definitely put some time into here. Breakout boards in each one of those. I like that, but I also don't. He's also using those weird pancake round steppers instead of traditional NEMA 17 steppers. And Aaron, maybe we should forego the Core XY and do a IDEX. Man, this is beastie looking. I do like this. It's just, it's another big printer to build. I would have to get rid of so much more stuff to be able to do this. Oh yeah, you're right. Look how good this looks. Look at this sword. How good that looks, that lightsaber. Man, Aaron, you better disassemble that Voron right now, brother. Man, that does look fantastic. I know I want to. You honestly, I really do want to now. I would definitely have to price this out because, not gonna lie, this looks really expensive. Guys, what do you think? What do you think so far of this? There is. Am I zoomed in all the way? Yeah. So it is a little bit of a variation right here. It's not Z wobble. I'm not quite sure what that is. It could just also be gradient in the filament there. Um, if it was a dark filament, you probably wouldn't be able to see that, but because it's a light filament, could be why. It also could be the accuracy of the machine. My belts are they're pretty good. Y could be a little bit tighter, I guess. But that's my issue with Y. I don't have any adjustability in the belt tension on Y. I have to actually pull that with a pair of needles pliers and zip tie it. I couldn't easily design a decent belt tensioning system for that. I mean, I could probably make this front piece a slider and use a wing nut and make it do that way. I could do that potentially, but I just worry about the filament fatiguing because I'm using 3D printed parts. I could beef that up, make it a lot bigger. But that's the only real way I can kind of think of to do a more adjustable or to do any type of tensioning on the Y belt. Cartesian style cube with an IDEX. Ooh, that's crazy sounding. Man, look at that. We are an hour and 13 in, and we are about 42% through the print so far. So hit me. If you guys got any questions on this printer or anything else like that, please ask away. Because I am really close to releasing this. And this is so hot in my office, it is melting Reese's. It's 78 degrees in here. Gotta eat my fair share of dad tax candy. This one? Nope. This one? Yep. No, I won't be selling a kit. I will be publishing the files. You can build your own. Just do that. All right. How you doing? If you could design a wide tensioner later, that would be great. Yeah. I don't know, because I kind of feel like once I send this out to the masses, I might be done with designing it. Because if I can get like really good prints off this the way it is right now, I feel that is a good enough reason to release the files and let others build it. And if they want to redesign parts, by all means, please do. Like, it's an open source printer. There's, I mean, 100% open source here, which is really cool to say that I designed a 3D printer that's open source. I like that. That's kind of satisfying. Well, that's what the build size. So the build size is roughly 175 by 175 by 200. I say roughly because it really depends on, I got rough cut aluminum from a aluminum scrap supplier on eBay. And so my build volume exactly is 172 on the X, 177 on the Y, and Z can be whatever you make it as. This is a 300 millimeter lead screw. I have about 200 and change movement on Z, but I just capped it to 200 so that it won't go any higher. I don't want to risk bumping the top here. But because I have this top cap on, aside from making it so I can't scratch myself, it also prevents the wheels from going up and actually the carriage coming off. But I've limited that in the firmware and in the slicer to just 200 on the Z. I'm the best. It will be released very soon. I promise you that. It will be very soon. The model is so close to being perfect. Again, having Aaron help me out this over the weekend was easy enough to he was helpful enough to help me figure out these issues. How about a BL Touch? I will not be designing a BL Touch mount for this. I don't have any, number one. I have designed an inductive sensor mount. So once I do put on the flexible build sheet, I can use that. Hang on 1 second. One second, guys. Be right back. Sorry about that. I had to get the kids' masks out of the laundry so they can dry for tomorrow. Oh, okay. So, anyway, I did design a mount for a probe, but I wasn't 100% happy with it. So I believe I nuked it. Um, yeah, I did. I wasn't happy with the way it was coming out, so I did nuke it. Trying to figure out another way that I can get it installed. Um, but yeah, I do plan on redesigning it for ABL on this. But also the one issue that we had, I know Aaron found the video on it. I need to go and find it. So this Robin Nano only has 128K or 64K. It's a 32-bit board, but it doesn't have very big memory in it. But apparently there's things that you can change in Marlin that help it compress more. Like there are some really absurd things enabled that you can disable in order to have sensorless homing and auto bed leveling on a board like this. But it takes a little bit of tweaking apparently. So I still haven't found that how to do that. I know Aaron figured it out. I have not yet. So I do need to kind of figure that out. Where are we at here? So Ryan, yes, you could. I actually have, do I have it here still? I do. So when I was designing this, I did have the intention of using this power supply here. So this is one that was on Amazon, but I've had a hard time finding it again. So this is a 24 volt, 10 amp power supply, very, very small, and potentially could fit under there. Potentially. I did not design it into it because this did not come in time when I was doing the original designing, and I had a large 24 volt one. So this could be used. I don't know if I'll ever redo it. I don't even know if this printer will stay alive. I might just take it apart and use the parts for other things because I don't really see this as a everyday printer for me. I have a room full of printers. It's a very much a YouTuber first world problem, but this was what I was intending on using. It's very, very small and compact. But the way that I have this designed, this also provides stability to the printer. So there are two 3D printed parts that join this vertical 2040 and this horizontal 2040 right here. And those all bolt to that. And then this uses blind joints to Z in order to attach there. And there's a corner bracket I designed, 2040 quarter bracket down there. I also have coming through these legs on this side, they bolt through, and that's actually what bolts the power supply. So the power supply acts like another reinforcement to ensure that those legs don't move at all. Now, granted, I highly doubt they ever would move because of how much I have them attached, but it does add more stability and also weight. This keeps it more grounded. This printer is honestly super duper lightweight, and I do worry a little bit about that, but because of the way that I have it here, I mean, it doesn't move at all when it's printing. It probably could jack up the speed more, but it also just adds a little bit of mass to the printer because it is so light. It is 1 meter of 2040. That's it. That is the heaviest thing on here aside from the power supply. And then you have the motors, and I have the moters like here, cantilevered or opposite way or opposite sides of this the Z to try and help offset each other a little bit. So I did have some more ideas that way. I'll put this away now so I don't lose it, or I can use it for another little project someday. But because I have so much other stuff coming up that I want to work on, I don't know if I'll continue redesigning this for that, like power supply or anything like that. I'm not sure. Okay, going back up in comments, sorry, I'm a little bit behind. So Aaron, oh, you asked Aaron if he would do a BL touch. If he's up for it. Hey, Eduardo. Yeah, you haven't been around, man. Paul, this will not be sold. This will be free on wherever I decide to upload it. Yeah, it'll be totally free, probably. Unless I do like, I don't know, $1. Just to recoup a little bit of the time. I don't know. I'm not a good designer. So like me charging for something, I don't know if I really want to or not, because my designs are not great. Like, this is not a fantastic printer by any way stretch. Like, these are very simple geometry, very simple designing. But again, what's kind of the difference between Aaron's printer and my printer? I went for very much function over form. Aaron very much went for form over function. Not saying his doesn't work. His is good, it works, it prints, but his looks more aesthetically pleasing than mine does. And that has a lot to do with a lot of things. Again, that's his style of designing versus my style of designing, because I am such a basic user. That's why I didn't do a lot more of that. Like, I wish, one thing I do like that the Hypercube does is that it has the carriage and then the hot-end mount separately, and you bolt them together. I like that, and I kind of debated on doing that. I would lose more on my Y because of that, but again, I have the space to lose. I don't know. It's something I have to think about, you know, because I ended up having to print this in 3 pieces because the actual main plate of the X carriage prints face down, because on the back it has all the bearing blocks and everything for the bearings to mount into. Then you print on the back half of the E3D mount. So let me, actually, it's probably better if I bring it up here. I can understand this better. So this right here is 2 parts actually. So I have the actual X carriage, so it's that right there. Can I isolate that? No, I can't. I can isolate that though. So I have this back carriage, and it prints on this face right here, face down, like that, face down. And then you print this section here. As you see, there's some captive nut holes in here, and you bolt it from the back, and you bolt that to here. I did that to minimize the actual supports. I hate supports. I don't want any supports in this printer. So this is the back half of the clamp. And then you have the, do this here. And then you have the actual X clamp, which goes on the front, bolts through 2 bolts right here, as you can see those holes, goes into these captive nuts here. So there's 2 sets of captive nuts in here. And then that holds in the E3D V6 and provides the lockdown point, the mounting point for the part cooling fan and the part cooling fan shroud. And you can see the part cooling fan shroud, if I remove that, that is the geometry for the part cooling fan shroud. And these 2 mounting holes are also correlate to the nozzle fan, the part cooling fan, so I can put a bolt in through here and up here, and that gives it a lot more rigidity in there. And yeah, so I also debated on making this circle larger, because right now it's really tight. Like, it's real world versus fusion world, it's tight. But it does work. And like up in here, this is super small. Like, this opening here is a whopping 1.2 millimeters. It is not that big at all. So it just fits the tiny, tiny zip ties that I have to use for that. So we want to save this. I don't lose my design there. And let's go back to here. All right, comments here. Where can I buy that printer? 3D Print, you'll be able to download it eventually once I release the files. This is the printer that I designed, and eventually I will be having the files for download or a very, very, very cheap purchase. We'll see how it goes. Brian's asking, what design software do you use? I use Fusion 360. That was what I was just showing off in there. That has been what I've been using for the past few years. I recently bought a full license of it because of the changes they made. I don't want to keep archiving my stuff because I'm super lazy. If I was more cheap, I am really cheap though. I mean, again, I built a $130 3D printer, but you could just archive things after you're done working on them. Like after I worked on this X carriage, I could archive it and still work. But you also need to work everything in like one big file instead of breaking out, because I have like the Z motor mount and the LCD mount with the power supply in there, and then I have the Y-axis separate, end stops are separate, PSU cover is separate, I have the X-axis, the Z-axis, and then I put everything into the master file of Master Crane all together there. Yes, Kennedy, it was suggested to do this instead of a Benchy, because why not? And it's looking pretty fantastic, I must say. Eat your heart out, Prussia. I would never design a printer as good as him, though. Or his team, I should say. I will try my darndest, though. It's the bridging. We're at 68% now, so we're getting along there pretty good. But if you're new, because Brian, you asked, if you're new into getting into 3D modeling for 3D printers or like functional parts, Fusion 360, in my opinion, is the best. If you're going to do anything kind of like random, then I would do like Blender, like more organic things. So Kennedy, what is the actual size of a 695 bearing? Because I do have this flange bearing here, but I don't know if it'll fit because I have bearings. I just don't know what the actual size of it's supposed to be. Where's my calipers? I'll put the battery in this soon. So this one is 16 millimeters, this flange bearing that I have. Paul, I did not do a 3D print giveaway. I am working on recording I do a lot of voiceover and screen capture stuff for the print design, the 3D printer design, which is what this was based off of. I am currently filming that right now, but it's taken me a little bit of time it's taken me a lot of time actually to source everyone's different materials that I correlated all into a Google Sheet, but now it's like cycling through all those different things and recording it all and then editing. It's going to be an absolute beast. So okay, so I have a bearing right here. We will see if that works. I think this is dimensionally accurate. I don't really know, because I don't know if I ever calibrated that or not. I think I just slapped it at 80 and called it a day, because I'm using 20 millimeter bearing or a 20 tooth bearing and a 20 tooth pulley. So 80 should be spot on for 16 microsteps. I mean, everything comes out that looks good. I just don't know how exactly accurate it is. Thank you, Aaron. Let me take a look at that real quick here. Go to site. So Brian, you can get a free hobbyist version of Fusion 360, which I highly recommend to do. Again, they just have, Aaron, that link doesn't work. This site can't be reached is what I get. Yeah, it is free for hobbyists. There are some limitations to it. Again, I personally did not like the limitations, which is why I bought it. And I bought it a few months ago. They had it on sale for $300 for a year. So I purchased that. Whether I continue to purchase it after this year, I don't know. But I am set for the next year at least. I don't know if I don't know if I can write that off, because because I really only use it for YouTube, and YouTube is a business. I don't know if I can write off that expense or not. If I can, cool. But I'm not really good with taxes, so I don't know. Paul, you should do it. It's a lot of fun. Again, I definitely learned a lot. I challenged myself a ton on this build. Again, I heavily worked with, well, I didn't work with Aaron on this one in the beginning. He gave me a couple pointers, and we had designed Megatron right before I designed this one. But this one was on my own. You know, I pinged him a couple of times, like, hey, I can't quite get this. Well, how should I do this? I obviously did not, well, he showed me a little bit about alignment using the align tool in Fusion, but I clearly did not use it on this printer because that is one of the issues I had, was aligning these two Z plates that I modeled independently. I thought I had them on the same plane. I was off by literally like, what, half a millimeter on the one hole. Other hole I think was off by about a millimeter. So there was some slop in there, but now it is completely square. This back end is completely flush with each other. The tops and bottoms flush each other. It's just a little difference here because of the way that the Z rod is on the back, or or not Z rod, the lead screw, and the extruder to be to the side of that. So we'll say my extruder motor is a little warmer than I like it to be. It's warm to the touch, not hot though. X isn't too bad. Z is cold almost. Yeah, that's enough to print something. That's not enough to print Master Crane though. Master Crane does require a full-size 3D printer. The Monoprice Mini is a little too small for this one, but there are plenty out there that you just have to print corner brackets. Use some of the square tube printers. You can print those in it. But this one, these two, I'm gonna call these the printed frame parts, are too long for that kind of printer. Hey John, welcome to the stream. We are 79% done. So the top hole's for flange. What's the bottom one for? Kevin, what I consider full size. So full size would be something greater than 200 by 200 by 200 build volume. That's a full-sized 3D printer. It is the most common size. Right now, actually, the most common size is 235 by 235 by 250 is probably the most common on the market, because that is what the Ender 3 is, and there's tons and tons and tons of printers like the Ender 3, Tiva Tarantula Pro, the ANET, not ANET, oh yeah, ANET, the what was I just gonna say? Oh, the G-Tech A10 is the same size. The Anycubic i3 Mega is, I think, 210 by 210 by 250 or 200. The Prusa Mark III is 210 by 250 by 250. So that would be, but right now 235 by 235 by 250 is the most common, so I'm going to call that a full size. Anything smaller than that is small. Oh, bottom hole is a troll hole. John, they don't always end up undersized. You have to design them for the tolerance of your printer and for the tolerance of your nozzle diameter. So you have a hole, let's say it's 10 millimeters in size, and you make it in Fusion 10 millimeters in size. It's going to be undersized and not fit your, or whatever you have to fit in there. It's going to be undersized by at least 0.2, or actually by 0.4 millimeters on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, because your nozzle runs straight down the line with 0.2 millimeters on one side, 0.2 millimeters on the other, roughly, or 0.24 if it's 0.4 extrusion. But either way, your extrusion width is what you have to account for when designing something. So if you need to be exactly 10 millimeters, you need to make the hole at least 0.2 millimeters larger so that that extrusion width, instead of being straight down, will be at the side on the outside of the hole. So the inside is your exact measurement. And it also comes into the tolerance of your printer. You kind of have to play with it and see what works. But for the most part, you just have to build in your extrusion width into your modeling. Paul, so 320 by 320 by 300, I personally consider that as a large form factor. Anything over 300 by 300 on X and Y is a large format 3D printer. Some people might say it's over 400, but you've got all these printers, a huge bunch of them down here at the 200 to 230 cube range. And then you've got the next step up is going to be the 300 cube range, or it could be 300 by 300 by 400, 3 by 3 by 300, something like there. Those are going to be large format printers. Because also those size printers, you really shouldn't be printing with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. You can if you want to get large, accurate prints, but because it is so big, at a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, doing any print takes days. But if you just simply go to a 0.6 or 0.8 millimeter nozzle, you can still print 0.2 millimeter layer heights, but your extrusion width is so much larger. You can do less perimeters. You can also do fatter layers, so you can do a large model much faster. You can really cut down the time with a large format with a larger nozzle. Again, they only come out undersized if you design them undersized. You can get them to print fairly round, and you can get them to be accurate if you design it properly. I'm not saying I'm a pro at it, but I always build in that 0.2 millimeters because most of my printers that I print printer parts on is a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I build in a 0.2 or 0.25 tolerance so that I can easily see the things. So that's for like an M5 bolt is a 5 millimeter hole. Well, I make it at least 5.2 or 5.25 millimeters. That way, that bolt still fits in there perfectly fine with minimal friction, if any at all, because then I don't have to drill it out. If you model a hole at 5 millimeters for a 5 millimeter bolt, you're going to need to take a 5 millimeter drill bit and drill through it in order to get that bolt to smoothly move in and out. Otherwise, it's going to actually cut into the sides of your print. And if you wanted to be holding down something like this top plate, that's not good because it's already into here, and then I have to like strip through it to get down. No, you got to design a little more oversized. Yes, it does use triangles. How big or how small those triangles are vary, but it can be round to your eye. Whether it's round to an exact round thing, whatever that would be, mosquito. Again, it's the accuracy of your printer, it's the steps of your printer, it's the accuracy of your motors. There's a lot that goes into it. You can actually see that the easiest in Tinkercad, actually, because when you create something in Tinkercad, you can increase or decrease the faces, and you can really see all those angles, how they just get smaller to get nice and round. Otherwise, and then lower you go, the more low poly it is. Llama, what's up, dude? Speaking of getting printers working, is your Llama core working yet? I saw you working on it the other day. Didn't have time to watch the stream though, but I did see you working on it. Wonder what that little variation at the bottom of the print is. Huh, I do see that too. I wonder if that's gonna be a problem. Putting those washers on had an unexpected all loose at least. So that's good. I might have a slight banding in here, I think, every so often. Not sure yet, though. Have to analyze it when it comes off the print. It's all running. Good stuff, man. Done. Where's that bag? Here it is. So we put some stuff away real quick. Omni Drop Extruder. Huh, never heard of that one before. There's just so many new things that come out like every day in the 3D printing world. It's really hard to keep up with how fast the 3D printing technology and design is going right now. Like, it is flying. It really is. Thought I bought these Weehaw bits. I need to put them in here. But I think we're going to take out the square bit, because who uses a square bit unless you're working on square D stuff? And I don't have any square D in the house. So, put one of these bits in. I'd gotten some little 2 and 2.5 millimeter bits for my interchangeable Weehaw screwdriver, because 2 millimeters, 2.5 millimeters are super popular or common in 3D printer. So I have, this thing is the greatest. If you guys need a screwdriver, man, this thing is awesome. There, I'm going to put this guy right here, because the standard set for this one only goes down to, I don't even have the metric on this one. It goes down to 1/8, 3 mil. So then I have a 2 mil and a 2.5 mil now. So I've got the gambit of standard 3D printer sizes. Well, it looks like my, oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I love this thing though. All right, we are at 93%. Almost there, guys. Almost there. I want to look here real quick. So it said in Bruce Slicer this was going to take 1 hour and 9 minutes, and we are at 1 hour and 4 minutes. So it's going to be pretty close to on the mark there. Visual? Either way, is this a kit or a DIY entirely? This is 100% DIY. I designed this from scratch for this. Oh, Ryan answered that. Sorry. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, this has not been released yet. I am working on it. I just had finished up a few of these parts with Aaron, who's in the chat. He helped me realign a couple of these parts. I was off by a little bit, and he was able to help me realign them and make new holes so that everything is proper and sized. We tried this on Saturday night, my Saturday night stream, but we were off by, I would say about 1.5 millimeters we were off. And that was just an undersight by us as we were doing that. So those old parts, I pulled those off, and now we have the new ones on, and it is working really well. Chris, hello, welcome. I don't know if I said hi to you. Yes, I have a WoW stick here too. I think I was like one of the first ones to start using these a lot. I do use this all the time, and I think always sits in here is my 2.5 always sits in here because that's the standard for Caphead M3s. I love this thing. It's always on the charger. I have a little base. Let's see if I can unplug it here. I found this base on Thingiverse for it, which is really cool. And the cable just slides up underneath there, which is great. And the USB is right inside there. So as long as I line it up, I can put that on there. And now it's charging right here in this. So this has been super useful. Because again, I use it not daily, but doggone close to it. I like being able to have it sit on the charger, because I did notice that it loses the charge pretty quick, which is kind of a downfall of it. Again, yeah. All right, we're doing top layers now. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. If we're in 3 minutes, it will be exactly the same as what Prush Slicer said. That'll be cool, because Simplified 3D is never right. I also don't care. There's a lot of people out there that get really, really, really triggered by how off Cura and Simplified 3D are to the actual print time. I start a print, it gets done when it gets done. Whether it takes an hour or a day or a week, I really don't care. As long as I know a ballpark how long it's going to take, because I don't print for money. So don't really care about it. But the fact that Prush Slicer is almost spot on is pretty impressive. Also, I did have this preheated, so I did cheat a little bit, because heating does take a minute. It's just a very small, underneath of here is a 150 by 150 millimeter silicone heater. Underneath here, just attached. It's not insulated yet. I do have some pipe insulation tape, which is like the foam tape, and then I have some aluminum tape that I'm going to put on top of it. So I do want to insulate this the same way I want to insulate the BOV MGN silicone pad there as well. I do want to get that also insulated somehow. Don't know how I'm going to do that one, but I'm going to test out that insulation method on this thing. We got 1 or 2 more top layers to do here. Ryan, man, again, I will be so proud and honored if people are like, hey, I'd actually like to print that. That'd be pretty cool. So I will be super stoked if people actually want to print this, and they do print it. Going up a little bit, David, you were saying, did I release BOM from Megatron? I did not. I don't know if I ever will, because honestly, I didn't really have a BOM list for it, because I used an old printer frame to make it. I assume a lot of the time, we all know what assume means, but if you're building something from me, you kind of know what you're doing, and you have stuff laying around. So like, I will not go through and count how many 10 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter nuts and bolts you need, what size nuts you need. I'm going to assume that you're like me and you have a bin of M4 bolts, or you have a little catalog that has a bunch of M4, M5, and M3 stuff in it. And then you have T-nuts, square nuts, standard nuts, all for those various sizes. So that's kind of what I assume when I kind of do a lot of my things. And some extrusion, Aaron, and some extrusion. But if you download, but also to make it a little more easy for you, David, if you download the model and open it in Fusion 360, you can measure each of the pieces of extrusion to figure out how much extrusion you need to buy in order to cut down. You also can change any of those sizes to fit your needs. If you have a longer lead screws, you can make it taller. If you have shorter lead screws, you can make it shorter. But you can easily change it all. That's why I upload the full Fusion 360 file, so that you can download it and work on the file and be able to measure things and check it all out. Hour and 10 minutes. Prush Slicer said 1 hour and 10 minutes. That is awesome. That really is. So again, this is the flexible build plate here. I can just peel that off. And here we have a nice little print off of Master Crane. Man, guys, this... Man, let's see real quick. Bearing doesn't fit. Bearing doesn't fit. Man! What's it measure at? Measures 15.9. 29.98 and 29.90. So like I'm a little bit off there. Vice asking, does the Wasp take up a lot of torque? It does not have a lot of torque. It's okay for most applications. It's good for like getting a screw in there, especially if it's a long way to go, get it all the way down. And then I switch over to a wee hot driver and I'll torque it the rest of the way in. But especially when going through 3D printed parts, it does not have enough torque for that. Man, that is so close to being able to fit in there. Oh wait, it does fit. It fits in there. Oh, this is a little printer that could. Man, Volron, eat your heart out. Let's take a closer look at this print, guys. Let's pull this up here. Let's see. Loosen this up a little bit. Come on. There we go. So I can... how am I going to do this here? We'll do it like... Whoa, no, don't do that. Sorry, my whole mount came off. It's motion sick. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we have... I need to zoom out a little bit, I think. Can you focus on my hand, please? There we go. Okay. So here is X side. Side. Back side of X. Back side of Y. First layer. Really good. You can see the bridging on that beam in there is literally perfect. It does not get any better than that. There is zero sag in that whatsoever. You can also see through here. You can see that part in there. And then the bottom, the troll hole, and the top with a 16mm bearing that fits just inside. For a $127 printer, I don't think you can do much better than that. We do have some odd extrusion right here. Can't feel it, but I can definitely see a few little bumps here and there. But man, look, that looks really consistent. You can see on the angle there. That looks really consistent. Man, I don't know, you guys are saying not bad and pretty good. This is freaking phenomenal for this printer. Come on now, guys. I would like to see someone do better than that on a $127 3D printer that they designed themselves. I would. Come on now. This is freaking awesome looking. Man, that looks... Wow, I would love to swear right now. My golly. That first layer looks great, too. I nailed that one. Pat myself on the shoulder for that. That looks fantastic, man. So, print settings. Let's go to that now. Where are we at? Let's do this one. So 0.2 layer heights. 2 perimeters. We're doing 5 top layers, 3 bottom layers. Let's see, we're doing external first. 10% infill on this, gyroid infill. Every line. We just have a skirt on the outside, not touching. No supports. So speed. 30 millisecond. This is slow printer. It's a very slow printer. I'm getting these results because it is so slow as well, because it's not the toughest thing in the world. We're talking about a cantilever printer. So 30 is pretty much the speed for everything. The small primers have it as 15 millimeters a second. Travels at 50. First layer is 20 millimeters a second. Max print speed, I have it locked at 50 millimeters a second. Well, you can't see that because I'm in the way. Yeah, down here, 50 millimeters a second for that. Advanced default extrusion width just 0.45 on all of this. Top is 0.4, which looks good. Looks real good. Let's see here. What else we got? So filament settings, again, this is just PLA, 200 degrees, 60 feet on the bed. Did I do external first? Oh, no, extra. No, I'm sorry. That was extra primers if you needed. No, it's doing internal primers first. Sorry, I misspoke there, Aaron. Thank you for catching me. I enable the cooling fan, minimal 35. Max is 100, so it adjusts as it needs to. Bridging is at 100% as well. Nothing on the first 3 layers. I don't have anything set. This is all default per slicer. Nothing there. I'm not using linear advance on this printer. So the printer settings, again, I have it set to 172 on X, 177 on Y, 200 on the Z. One extruder, let's use a Marlin. I can undo the stealth mode because it doesn't do stealth mode. Yeah, the custom G code right now, I need to put in a prime nozzle. I don't have it in there right now, so I need to do that. And this is all stock in Proof Slicer. Didn't touch any of that. And same thing here. This is all stock Proof Slicer. I did do the retraction, so this is 3 millimeters at 40 millimeters a second. It is a very short Bowden tube. I believe it's only, I think it's 200 or 250 millimeters. It's pretty short length, so 3 millimeters at 40 seemed to be perfect. So it probably could get that a little bit shorter, but this is what I found to be good for me. And that's it. So that's all the settings for that. And it printed pretty much perfectly. You know, I mean, I'd love to see somebody else's $130 printer print this good using actual 3D printer parts, not using 5-volt motors or anything weird. E3DV6, 1515 cooling fan. The 30 millimeter fan is super loud, but whatever. Standard 24-volt power supply, standard 32-bit control board, sensorless homing on X and Y, end stop on Z for now, but you can do a auto bed leveling on this printer if you want to. The BMG knockoff, using wheels because that's cheaper, but I can't see many people doing better than this, guys. Not gonna lie. I could do that, Gunner. I mean, I would not mind if I could print this at 60 millimeters a second and retain this quality. That'd be cool. I don't know if it can, just because I'm not 100% convinced of the rigidity here. So my whole table wobbles. It doesn't actually move this much, but there is a very slight bit of wobble here because it's cantilever. It can only be so strong because it's only anchored on one side. You can't flex out on an i3 because there's a cross beam across here and the bottom to stabilize both of your Z towers. This Z tower is not stabilized by anything. It is blind jointed into the bottom with a my own design 40 millimeter, 20 by 40 millimeter corner bracket in there. 3D printed because I want to keep costs down. You could use metal that might increase rigidity a little bit, but not by much. But still, I mean, like this took an hour and 10 minutes to be exact. And again, from someone who doesn't care how long a print takes to make, it's fine by me. Ryan, if you do a linear rail mod, you will be epic. That would be cool to see. Yeah, I think it can do 60, but it's more the quality, retaining quality. I'm okay with this being slow. It doesn't matter to me how fast or how slow anyone prints, that anyone printed in the challenge. I don't care. If you have to print at 30 millisecond to get a good print and everybody else can print at 60, I don't care. It's whatever works for your machine, because everyone's machine is a little bit different. Even you can put 10 Ender 3s side by side, you're going to get different print quality from all of them. So I might queue up one more print. Oh, someone earlier, was it Darren, you asked. So this is printed solids green. I'm not super convinced with the color, but it's not bad. It's just not my favorite. But yeah, this is printed solids filament. And I was asking, well, again, printed solid. This is Jesse PLA green slime is what it's called. What's the aluminum frame printer in the back? Down here, that is the BLV MGN Cube. This one here is a Tech2C Hypercube. Green slime from printed solid. Maybe if enough people buy it, David would want to send me more filament. I can always use more filament to print stuff. But yeah, man, the fact that bearing fits, ooh la la. Hey, it could be my my hood ornament. This bearing actually came out of the Mingdia because they had they had the Z rods captured, which is never a good idea. So that's where that bearing came from, actually. Not too bad at all. So I do have two plates. So this one I bought online. Again, this was a couple bucks online when I was buying all the parts for the printer. I do also have from the Ender 3 Pro, it came with this really, really crappy magnetic build sheet. So I just cut this down to size as well. So I have two different ones. They're not great. They barely hold on. Like, honestly, they don't hold on with too much force. So I am a little worried about, that one actually holds on better. The Ender one holds on better. This one does not hold on well at all. So probably wouldn't buy this one again, but it does get nice and toasty. That aluminum gets hot. That definitely gets hot. How many printers do I have? I think I have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 if you count the Mingdia. I have 2 more here in boxes that I'll be unboxing and building soon, and I have 3 resin printers. So 20 built. I'll have 22 soon. I did have almost 30, got rid of a bunch. But I will definitely be getting rid of more soon. Yeah, I'm excited for the energetic plate to come in. Even if I don't use the ABL, but this Ender one, I can slide the printer and it doesn't, the whole printer moves when I do that. When I put this one on here, I can simply slide the whole, sheet without moving the printer. So probably should just start keeping this Ender one on here. At least it holds well. I guess when I called it crap, this is definitely more crap. Perspective. Perspective is what it is. I haven't thrown it away yet. Still sitting there. I'm going to email them, see if they'll send me another extruder. Vishal, I have 2 Crowdy, well, I have more than that. I have 3 Crowdy printers now. So my original CR10, I got rid of that one. I have the CR10S up here. So my original CR10S is up there. I have an Ender 3 right here. And I have an Ender 3 Pro down here. I have not used the Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro in months. Literal months. There's no real reason to use them. I have plenty of other DIY printers that I built myself. I really don't need them. So And I mean, I'm not gonna do a bunch of like, I did some modding videos on them. I did the Wham Bam Flex plate. I did the TH3D plate. I did the TH3D Titan upgrade on the Ender 3. M3 Pro is still stock. So I will be getting rid of those sooner rather than later probably, because there's just no reason to keep them anymore. I'd rather print on the Bear or Megatron than print on an Ender 3, because also my quality is 1,000 times better on the Bear or Megatron than Ender 3, but I do still have them. The only thing that I do also wish that I could change is the hot end fan always runs on this printer because there is no separate output for that. So I do wish there was another way to run that fan not on all the way. Have I reviewed the Crowdy Elf printer? I don't even know what that is, so no. And Crowdy also, Crowdy no longer allows resellers to send their printers. So Banggood, GearBest, AliExpress, none of them will send me a Crowdy printer. Crowdy only sends them out themselves now. So unless they decide to start talking to me, which I highly doubt, I will never get another Crowdy printer to review. I'll also never buy a Crowdy printer because they're not worth the money. And the only reason why I have these Crowdy printers is because back in the day, Banggood was able to send them to me, and that's why I have them, because Banggood's been supporting me for a long time with printers. They just have another product they just sent me, which will be here in a few weeks. So that'll be cool to work on that. But you will never see another Crowdy printer on my channel unless Crowdy decides to start sending them to me. And for as highly as I talk about Naomi Wu, that's never going to happen. Oh, Creativity. Never heard of them. Yeah, Llama. That G-Tech dude, that became what did that become? Did that become the Hypercube? No, that became this Prusa Mark III S clone. That's what the G-Tech complained. So all the G-Tech motors are on here. I cut down the rods to fit here. Yeah, that became that printer. And some of the parts went to other things too. Ryan, I'll give you a deal on it. How about that? That's pretty much what I had planned for today. I can do a couple more prints on this and probably call it good. I don't know if I will, I don't know if I'll release the file, if I'll add a Y idler before I release the files or not. I don't know yet. I just have to figure out how I want to actually model that and get it to work. Because I do worry a little bit about the filament being able to hold the tension on that well. So is it a big tree board? No, Llama, this is a MKS Robin Nano on there. The Big Tree Tech Mini, which I have an SKR Mini here, right? Mini E3 V2 also only has one extruder out on it, I think. So you can't do it either. Yeah, there's only one out on the Mini as well. So oh, it is the Robin E3. Sorry, not a Robin Nano. A Robin E3. Is that what it says on there? Yeah, MKS Robin E3 V1. (2209) sensorless homing, does everything that you needed to do. You could do end stops on this if you wanted to model those on, but I did not. This is built for sensorless homing. Maker Kid, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, there is no reason to put a 1.3 or 1.4 on here. It also doesn't fit in the budget of $130 for this printer. So that's why the MKS Robin E3 is 20 bucks. Can't beat that. Yeah, for $20, you literally cannot beat the price of this board. Because if you do a 1.3 or 1.4 with 22 nines, the board itself is $30 or $20. Then you have to spend another $25 on stepper drivers. The stepper drivers. So now that this works, we can throw all these printed parts away from before. But you were curious, Aaron, how off we were. The back holes look the same. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the difference there then. Yeah, there's no way I could show this on camera, I don't think. Let me try real quick though. Nope, come on, click. You can see how it's just off by a hair in there. And this side, just off the hair. Again, this is the old back plate with the newer front plate. And then you can see in the front there how much further ahead this hole was compared to the old hole in the middle there. So like I said, we expanded that hole to be an eccentric nut. We should have pulled it back in a little bit, but you can definitely see the difference right there on how far off we were. All right, Gunnar, I have no idea when the Duet clone is arriving. I ordered it on 11/11. Normally stuff from China takes at least a month to get to me, so I've got another 2 to 3 weeks before that arrives. Yeah, but that's all I had for tonight. So unless anybody's any other questions on this printer and the build, probably going to call it a night. So again, this is Master Crane, my sub $130 3D printer that prints damn near perfect. It really does. Again, expectations being that this is the cheapest, bottom of the bucket stuff you could buy to make it work. Yeah, because honestly, even if you bought a ramps board with the screen combination, it was almost as much as this, because this full graphic screen was only, how much was this? I think it was $9. So $29 for the board plus screen. You're spending like $20 on a ramps 8-bit board with a 2004 LCD, the old school rep wrap displays. It's a pretty good trade-off. 32-bit for $9. Sensorless homing, silent stepper drivers. Ryan. Well, Ryan, you know what? If I get more patrons, I will absolutely build that machine. I honestly will. If I get more patrons, more people want to see me build crazy, stupid printers, I'll build them. But I gotta have like the people that want to help a little bit. You know, if 50 people do $1 or $2 a month, that'll add up over time, because, you know, the BLV, I think next month, December's Patreon payment will fully pay for then the BLV project. So that will be fully paid for at that point. Then I've got about another, I think, 2 months, and then the Bear. So by February, I will be caught up with Patreon for all the projects that I've built. I try to keep it kind of 1 for 1 on what I make from Patreon and YouTube to the printers. YouTube pays, I mean, almost as much as Patreon does. Patreon's like $100 a month. YouTube is usually about $100 a month. So I try to budget what I buy and what I build to the income that I get. I never know my YouTube income, but I always know my Patreon income will be at least this much every month. How chibi could you add a belt for auto ejection to that? I don't know. Greg, you're welcome. Thank you for hanging out for this stream. I don't know, Llama, I'm kind of done with, even if I bought a printer, I don't buy actual printers. Like, the BLV kind of was by a stretch, though. I kind of don't want to buy companies' printers anymore. I'd rather buy something that someone made. So Ben Levi made the BLV, worked out with an AliExpress company to create a basic and advanced kit for it to start out with. I like that. I don't know if I'll ever buy like a printer. Probably won't ever. I'll keep building custom machines or bears and like that. I won't build a bear again. I built one. It's done. Yeah. So I'll have to find the next thing. I don't think I'll do any more after Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime get built in the next couple months. I probably won't do any more custom builds until I move, which will give me a time to kind of get YouTube funds and Patreon funds stocked up. And then when I move, we'll pick something. Maybe the Moldex. Well, Gunnar, they're fun, but it's also content. Like, anybody can buy a 3D printer. Anybody can buy an Ender 3 and do a video on it. Done. But I don't want to be that guy. Like, if companies want to send me printers, great. I've got a couple sitting here that companies reached out to me, want to do it. Cool. But I'm not going to buy any of these printers. You know, I'll review them. I'll check them out. I'll use them in the print farm for whatever I'm doing. But things that I will sink, I don't really say my money, but your guys' money. Because again, you're giving money via YouTube by watching. You guys give money by using the affiliate links. You guys are giving money, directly giving me money by Patreon. I want to use the money that I get from you guys for cool things and not just buying a 3D printer and using it. The Moldex is a cool project. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably going to keep an eye on that. Maybe next year that's what I build. I've been wanting to do a Volron as well. But that's kind of how I plan on doing my channel and the way that I fund it. Yes, I bought printers in the beginning because you got to get started somewhere. But I'm kind of, 4.5 years into this, I'm kind of done buying off-the-shelf printers. Chris, I will not do a tool changer because they are far too expensive. I will also not do a rail core because they are far too expensive. Llama, I've been here for 2.5 years, man. I'm moving next summer. And see, so Kevin's saying a belt printer. I think they're stupid. I'm sorry. Like, they're not stupid. That's a harsh word. I think that their uses are severely limited to swords. Like, I don't need to print long items. Ever. Like, ever. As long as they are printed with the Zelda Master Sword, but you print that in parts. I don't need to print it in one giant piece. And I think that the quality of content on a channel having a belt printer, unless I'm building it myself, the quality of content you get after it's built is pretty much zero. Because it just prints long things. I just think they're really useless. Which is why you'll never see me get a belt printer. Again, Naomi doesn't like me. I know that. And there's no way that she's going to agree to send me a belt printer. A railcore could be less than the Moldex. I don't know. Again, I have to look at the parts. Again, I will cheap out on the Moldex. I'm not going to use sliced copperhead. I'm not going to use sliced copperhead. I'll use E3DVD6 clones or Dragon clones that are a portion of the price. I already built a giant Lego cart. I don't need to build one. I need more. Alexi, I did not do a Bear upgrade. I did a Bear scratch build. I have not printed enough with it yet to say whether I like it more than my Mark 3S. I kind of built it and it's been sitting on the side. I literally haven't printed on it in probably 2 months because I've been working on so many other things. That is the one downside to doing all these projects, is I don't really have time to sit on one thing and just work on that, or just print with that one design. I kind of have to bounce between things. My brain also doesn't work that way. I get way too bored working on one thing, so it's fun to have all these projects. Why I have so many this past, 8 months. I bet you I could do it cheaper. I could do it cheaper. I could do it less than 1,000. I bet you. I think I can. And Maker Kid, auto ejection also for me serves zero purpose, because why do I need to auto eject a part? I'm not printing a ton of stuff. I don't sell what I print. I can't do that. I have zero need or desire for any type of ejection or belt printer. Yeah, I could get some mellow hot ends and put them on there. Steven, I know she doesn't like me. She hasn't blocked me on Twitter, but I have disagreed with her far too many times. And I also won't give her the time of day. I don't follow her on Twitter. I've argued with her because of other people I've seen their threads. I don't subscribe to her on YouTube. I don't watch her videos. I kind of want nothing to do with her. So, all right, Viking, have fun with Diablo 3, buddy. It is a niche market. And yeah, 3D printing is niche. And then you have a niche market of a niche market with a belt printer. Again, it's not me. And for any of you that have already I know Jim Stellers, he's not in here tonight. I know he already pre-ordered a belt printer. Cool. Like, if that's something that you want to have and you have a use for it, by all means, buy it. Like, don't let my differences stop you from buying something like that. You'll just never see something like that on my channel. Again, watch. I'm going to get a DM from her after this. Like, hey, I heard you didn't like you. How about I send you a printer? I mean, if you're a cosplayer, cool. But like, that's literally the only useful thing I've seen printed on a belt printer is that. Now, that being said, I could print the front panel for the BLV is printed in 3 parts because it's huge. On a belt printer, I could print the entire front in one go. And what's his name? Who did the White Knight? He's already DM'd me and offered to print the front panel of the BLV in one go on his belt printer and send it to me. But that's like literally the one use I could use, is to print one part for one printer on one machine here. So again, if people like him, if you bought one, cool. Let me know how it works out for you. I have very, very low expectations for Creality's belt printer because their hot end design is horrible. Their part cooling design is horrible. They're using the same junk that they use on the CR10, on the Ender 3. It's the exact same crap. Like, it's not good. And it never will be good. It will be mediocre. It will continue to be mediocre. So I know people are going to be modding that thing straight out the gun when they buy it. Because if you got the early bird, 500 some bucks for that is not bad. You're getting the aluminum angled brackets, which are at a specific angle, so that's good. You're getting all the extrusion, you're getting the belt system, you're getting the rollers on it. I mean, the rollers and the belt is kind of the big thing for that. And you have to use a specific part of a specific offshoot of Cura that's probably super out of date. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's going to be the new thing. I'll say until August of 21. So it's supposed to ship in May. You're going to see videos about it come May, you know, when mainstream people get it. Because right now you just have like the elite 3D printers. Sadly, I have to put somebody into that group, and I'm not going to say his name. But you have the big reviewer group that all got a belt printer. Yay. It's all the people that we all already knew was already going to get one. Like, no surprises there. And they're going to use it. I bet you within the net by Christmas, you won't see any more videos from them on it until it launches in May, and then you'll see videos about it again. But you're not going to see Joel do it. You're not going to see it from Angus. You're not going to see it from Chep. You're not going to see it from anybody. I almost guarantee it. 30 days, 30 more days, we're not going to see any more videos on a belt printer. The rollers are extra, but it's still affordable when you get the whole kit together in the beginning. So, I mean, again, if you got it for the 530 some bucks and you have a need for it, it's pretty easy to upgrade that to a V6 or a Mosquito, a high end on there, and put some better design, better cooling for it. I think you'd definitely be able to do a lot. You get a lot better overhangs on that, because the overhangs on it right now are horrendous because it's printing at an angle. And because if your overhang is this way and you're on if your overhang is this way and your printer is at this angle, printing that overhang becomes compounded to be double the overhang almost. So the 45 degrees plus a 45 degree, you'd have a 90-degree overhang, which makes it perpendicular from the nozzle unsupported. So you see, like, it's the math there is weird. Stefan, we're not talking about him. I told him that he stays on his side of the internet, or his side of YouTube. I'll stay on my side of YouTube. But I am 100% done with him. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Could care less. 100% could care less. We had it out on the one video, which I never even acknowledged him in. Totally done with him. I could care less what he does. Say it 3 times, it might appear. Well, it's funny, Greg. So the rollers, Joel, he had to put cardboard on it to make it level with the bed, and so that the parts would slide off easier. That's just stupid. It's a beta printer that was sent out too early that people are buying. I'd much rather see, his name is escaping me, the guy that made White Knight. I'd much rather see what he does with his printers and how he's designed his. That's one interview when I was at IRF, and when I go to IRF, was that 18 I went to IRF or 19 I went to IRF? 18 I went to IRF. That's the one interview that I wanted to do. I didn't get a chance to go talk to him because that was just a cool printer to see in person. Watch that thing print. It was very cool to see. Turn that off for now. Yeah, so I think I'll go ahead and throw another model on here, print a little bit more with it. Make sure the model is, well, I need to clean up the model. Carl, that's it. Thank you. I can never remember his name. Because he's Knack. It's Knack 3D is what he goes by, right? So Andrew said, was the Mingda review where you got yes, Andrew. Again, you can read all that. All the comments are on that video if you want to go have a laugh and read. By all means, go read the comments on the Mingda review video, and you'll see where everything transpired. Yeah, I think we're going to call that it. That's 2.5 hours of a stream. That was a good stream there. That was a good video. So I think we got this guy pretty much perfect. Again, super duper happy with the quality of that. I'll throw some other prints on here. We'll do some more. I'll do some more testing, so I can have some example prints to upload when I upload the file. I don't know. Again, where or how I upload it. I will probably do a quick video of like, hey, you can now get this printer here. And I'll do a quick video on that once I actually do it. But I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Brian says start over. You're a funny dude. Brian, go back like 20 minutes and you can see the print results. Yeah, no, I don't want to stay up too late tonight. Kids do have school tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow, so I don't want to be up too late tonight working on this. But man, I am happy. I'll be happy to see some extended use on this printer to also kind of gauge that. But right now, man, could not be happier. Pretty stoked about it. So Brian, you need to turn on notifications so that you know next time I go live, which will be this Friday. So Friday, I will be unboxing and doing the build and first print on the ANET ET4. I just got that in. I also just got a JG Aurora printer in. That'll be probably next week, something like that. But yeah, so if you guys want to join me Friday night for the ANET ET4 build and first print, see how that goes. And we'll kind of go from there. So thank you everybody for joining in. Remember, if you want to help me build things like this and other things on the channel, you can click down below. There's a Patreon link, donate me $1 or more. And again, if I get enough come next year, I will start building some bigger and crazier projects. Right now, the biggest crazy thing I'm doing is the BLV Cube. But hey, if more people want to join in and help me kind of fund some of these crazy projects, I'd love to see you guys over on Patreon. Otherwise, you can help out. There's some donation links down below. Buy me a coffee, Streamlabs, or you can use any of the affiliate links down there with the coupon codes. I get a little slice of whatever you buy with those codes. You got Black Friday coming up here real soon. So if you guys wouldn't mind using AliExpress and the Amazon affiliate links down there below, again, really, really helps me out when you guys do that. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good night. Yes, hit the like button. Hope you guys enjoy the content. I'll see you guys Friday night.